then, my fellow hunters, and indeed more specifically, my fellow wielders of the largest and greatest sword. Oh yes, with a new title update comes a new improvement to our biggest sword whackerer so that we may whack bigly and hardly as we ever did before. Look, I'll be honest, I have no idea what I'm saying, but I'm excited to do more damage. So, on that quest to do more damage then, what has Title Update 3 done for us? Well, it is of course the big chaotic Gore Magala headliner as a monster doth go, and well, basically we'll be using absolutely nothing to do with chaotic Gore Magala.
Why do you hate us? What did we ever do to you?
You were born.
Seriously guys, T-Common Shark is absolutely incredible, and everything he makes is absolutely incredible, and you should totally check him out. So yeah, the Chaotic Gore Magala Great Sword is an interesting one. If it was just how it is, with 15% affinity, free 40, those slots, and the ability to reach purple with handicraft, it might actually have been the new best, but because you have to play Bloodlust and Frenzy with this, otherwise you're just crippling yourself with that negative affinity, it kinda is for us, because playing with Bloodlust is a loss. Even if you perfectly manage it, you're actually not really gaining damage, but you are making the hunt harder because half the time your health's going to be draining from the frenzy, and God forbid if you ever don't manage to overcome it, and overcoming it is particularly annoying on Greatsword because although all you have to do is do 600 motion value worth of attacks to the monster, we hit so slowly and infrequently that even with True Charge being almost half the requirement to beat Frenzy by itself, it just is irritating, to say the least. So sadly, that's non-starter. There's still some testing and experimenting I want to do with it, and there may well be a viable alternate playstyle if you like that kind of thing, so stay tuned. But for now, it is just, you know, best greatsword, the new standard, all of the skills we like, let's hit very hard with no bells and whistles, because really, that's what we're about. Sadly, even with Strife and Berserk, you know, the skill named after Big Sword Man doesn't do anything for us. I've done a whole video breaking down Berserk, but especially for greatsword and especially for a counter weapon, yeah, we're not really gaining much out of it. So sadly, the dream of being our reality is still not quite there. But what is quite there is a massive improvement in our set damage output and comforts, most importantly, compared to Title Update 2. The real hero for us, then, is Risen Teostra, who has brought with him 2 new pieces of armor that are quite honestly game-changing for most affinity-caring raw builds. They are his helmet and his chest. Collectively, you get 5 crit eye and 2 weakness exploit with a bunch of slots. That is insanely efficient, and understandably, it massively ups our output. So, our new best build then involves, well, what we had before, because we still want to be using the Scorned Magnet Greatsword, and then replacing the old helmet and chest with both Risen Teostra chests. Now, let's first deal with the explosion in the room and talk about Powder Mantle. This is not why we're picking the armor, but it is a nice bonus that gives us a bit of extra damage output. I'm not going to work Powder Mantle into the calculation because that's near impossible, but I do want to highlight it that it is a non-negligible increase to our damage. Because the damage that Powder Mantle does scales with your raw, and Greatsword has massive amounts of it, yeah, it's pretty impressive. After, with rank 2, 9 hits, you will start glowing with orange powder. After a few seconds have passed, that will turn into blue powder. When you next attack the monster with blue powder, pop, you will do a good 500 to 600 damage, depending on how currently buffed up you are with your raw, if Power Sheath is on, if Offensive Guard is on, etc. So yeah, that's really, really nice, and even if you get hit with the orange powder, that's still an extra couple hundred damage done to the monster. So with that out the way then, yeah, this is our build. The same set as Title Update 2, but with the helm and chest swapped, it gives us what we desire. Now, talisman-wise, I am using a 3 attack and a 3 slot, and you may be like, well, that's a bit ridiculous, but the thing is, thanks to the new Aurora melding, that is entirely, pretty much normal to get now. It is more than fair enough to recommend a build that needs a talisman that gives you +4 skills to what you need because of Aurora melding. And just to prove the point, for exactly this build, this guide, this video, I walked up to our good old merchant friend, did 1 round of Aurora Aurora and instantly got this talisman. So yeah, I would just recommend focusing on attack, rolling talismans, and you will eventually get one that is worth 3 attack and a 2 slot. In any case then, once we decorate all of this up, we end up with quite the beautiful outcome.
My power is maximal!
I mean, is it not glorious? Full crit eye, full attack, full agitator, naturally the offensive guard that we need. We get everything and more. Of course, we get a little bit of build-up boost still from our Qurious gloves, combined with the blast on the best greatsword Scorned Magna, which is still the best greatsword in Title Update 3. It has gained a bit of raw thanks to more augmentation slots, so just put more attack into it. And all in all, yeah, this really is ludicrously good. And the best thing about this is we have, and I'm not exaggerating here, every single offensive skill Greatsword cares about that isn't conditional or gimmicky in the build as a baseline, which means the entirety of our Qurious crafting is for whatever your heart desires. You can go full min-max and get a bit of burst, a bit of chain crit for an extra 5 raw on your attacks. You don't need more than 1 rank. You could go for quick sheath to make power sheath that much infinitely better, which is what I've kind of favored. You could go for anything that lets you get a bit more sharpness to make the Scorned Magna that much comfier to use. The only thing you have to get through Qurious crafting is 1 more rank of stun resist, so you can't get stunned out of your Strongarm stance. That is the only requirement here. Oh, and this is future me adding an addendum here. Also, 1 rank of Wirebug Whisperer is perhaps as close to required as you can get without being required, as keeping that 3rd Wirebug for as long as possible obviously makes your Strongarm stancing that much easier. So yeah, probably get a Wirebug Whisperer. I will be adding 1 to mine, past what I show you I've already done in the rest of this video. Everything else is entirely up to you. You can even try and roll for some Blood Right, which I got on one of the points, and heal massively with your big, meaty greatsword hits. This is really awesome in how flexible it is now, because in the previous update, well, most of our Qurious crafting had to go towards finishing Agitator, as that was too valuable to pass up. So that really is a big benefit of Title Update 3. And this is what I ended up with once I'd finished all my Qurious crafting. Managed to squeeze a quick sheath in, finish stun resist, got a random rank of Blood Right, managed to get guard up in so I can do everything with Strongarm. I would highly recommend you always get at least 1 rank of guard up so you can Strongarm everything in the game. And other than that, I still have more rolls to go to make this as ideal as possible, but offensively, I mean, we are there. How there? Well, last Title Update 2 build, our effective raw was 901. Let's do the math. We have 350 on our Scorned Magna now, thanks to all the augments, an extra 10 from Attack 7, and we assume Agitator 5 has half uptime. It's actually a little bit more of that because of Embolden on the Violet Mizutsune, but half is fair, so an extra 10. So that gives us 370 base attack to work with. We get an extra 39% from having 97.5% affinity, again allowing for half Agitator. We get an extra 39% from Purple Sharpness, we get an extra 15% from Offensive Guard, we get an extra 10% from Attack 7, and an extra 0.33% from Build-Up Boost, activating 1/3 of the time on our hits, resulting in a grand total and improvement to 934! And yes, I would understand if you're having a moment of, wait, is that actually it? But hey, a increase of 33 isn't actually that bad, but you've also got to remember we're gaining the powder mantle, which is a more intangible increase to our damage output, and again, that flexibility of allowing all of our Qurious crafting to be whatever we desire. If we were to go full min-max and get chain crit and get resentments when we counter with Strongarm and we have red health, we're hitting with that damage from resentment, you can easily reach 1,000 here, which is obviously ludicrous, but we're at the point now where we have kind of every skill you air quotes need without feeling like you're giving up damage. So honestly, I mean, do what you would like, but I would definitely recommend you essentially Qurious craft for full comfort, because it just makes everything much better. In my eyes, the ideal is to get that stun resist, get 1 guard up, get at least 1 rank of quick sheath, knife, and then get something that allows you to have a little bit of extra sharpness, something that frees you up to put in one handicraft decoration to make the Scorn Magna Great Sword that much more comfy. Those added on just give you a really solid feeling build, and Great Sword has not felt this good in the entirety of Sunbreak. It really is that fantastic. In any case, I will leave you to it then. That is what we have now, and it's glorious. I cannot wait to see it grow ever more as Title Update 4 comes knocking at our door. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.